Warning! This video is intended for educational and MS documentary purposes. The host, Jenny, of the podcast show, The Demon Within, is not a doctor or any type of professional medical advisor.
I am a warrior.
They call it the butterfly effect. The idea that a small flap of wing can cause a hurricane on the other side of the world. But in my body, the butterfly didn't cause a storm. It staged a massacre. Welcome back to The Demon Within, Surviving MS. I'm your host, Jenny. Today's episode is a hard one. It's about the butterfly effect. You see, once the door of your immune system has been kicked open by multiple sclerosis, it doesn't always close. Sometimes, MS is just a leader in the pack. In the world of autoimmune disease, the butterfly effect isn't just a poetic phrase. It's a terrifying physical reality. The butterfly effect starts with a single localized event. For me, that was the first lesion on my myelin shaft. The moment multiple sclerosis kicked down the door. On its own, MS is a monster. But in the context of the butterfly effect, MS isn't the end story. It's the initial disturbance. By attacking the central nervous system, MS puts the entire body on high alert. Your immune system becomes a hair trigger weapon, scanning for enemies that just don't exist. You guys are really gonna hate me for saying this right now. I'm sorry in advance. And I'm not a doctor. The warning is at the beginning of the podcast. I am not no doctor. I am just someone living with a chronic autoimmune illness called MS, and I'm here to share my knowledge, my experiences with all of you. Please seek any medical advice that you may need or ask, or any questions you have. Talk to your doctor. Statistically speaking, once you're diagnosed with one autoimmune illness, you're more likely to develop others. The hurricane isn't just one storm, it's a series of cascading failures. First, the demon of MS broke the locks. But it didn't come alone. It left the doors swinging wide open for others. For me, after MS left that door wide open, came the next demon. I call it the Sandman. The Sandman strolled right into my life, walking right through the front door, feeling every drop of moisture, leaving me parched and gritty, praying for a drop of mercy. Let me explain something on why I named this episode The Butterfly Effect. So, we all have a tiny organ shaped like a butterfly in our neck. That organ of mine's, the one that's shaped like a butterfly, decided to turn into a parasite. It didn't just slow me down, it began to bury me, causing me to gain weight. Every pound I gained felt like a shovel of full dirt on my own grave, while I was still awake, still screaming, still fighting to be seen. Today, we're not just talking about a diagnosis, we're talking about an invasion. We all remember the day the demon moved in, which is the first breach in our body. For me, it was the MS diagnosis. It was terrifying. The numbness, the blurred vision, the feeling like my own nerves were fraying like electrical wires. And I thought, okay, this is my battle. I'll fight MS. I'll learn to live with the shadow. I spent months, years, wrapping my head around this new reality. I became a warrior for MS awareness. But while I was staring the MS monster in my own front yard, Something else was creeping in through the back window. My world was about to be flipped upside down once again.
Hold that thought, everyone. We're briefly evicting the demon within for a quick word from the folks who keep our lights on and our infusion chairs comfortable. Stay tuned. We'll be back to wrestling the beast in just a moment. The demon within will return after these messages, provided we can remember where we left the microphone.
Samantha Stacy started the Cute Cane Shop after being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. As a young cane user, she couldn't find anything that matched her style and personality. Samantha loves creating custom designs for the young and young at heart. Her amazing canes were featured in Cope magazine. Visit her shop on Etsy at cutecaneshopetsy.com.
Hey, I'm Samuel, your Cute Cane Shop, and this is just a reminder that your cane or mobility aid does not ruin your outfit.
You think you know what cold feels like? You think it's just a shiver? A reason to grab a sweater? A new shadow crept into my extremities. It started with my hands. I'd be holding a warm cup of coffee, and suddenly, my fingers would turn a ghostly, corpse-like white. They felt like blocks of ice attached to my wrists. The first time my husband saw it, he completely flipped out. He wanted to rush me to the hospital. Of course, I refused. By that point in my life, I had been in and out of hospitals due to relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis. As time went on, I bounced back and forth between a couple of doctors, and then I stumbled upon a doctor that was really interested in hearing what I had to say and actually listened to me. So I finally got a diagnosis. Raynaud's phenomenon. Please excuse me if I have butchered that name. On paper, doctors describe it as vasospasms. That's your blood vessels are overreacting to cold or stress and snapping shut like a steel trap. But when it's happening to you, it's like watching your body die in real time. With Raynaud's phenomenon, my blood vessels are overacting and just shutting down. During episodes, my hands will appear to be ghostly white and literally look like the hands of a porcelain doll, or turn bright blue to the point where I look like I'm turning into a smurf. This page in my life was the first sign that MS wasn't satisfied being alone in my body. And now I had a new roommate. That day when I was diagnosed and I came back from the doctors, I just sat on my bathroom floor, stared at my hands, and I sobbed. MS had already taken my balance and half my vision. Now, something else was coming for me. Let's talk about the Raynaud's flag. If you're living this, you already know the three colors. The white, the ischemic phase. The blood is choked off. Your fingers turn into white stones. The blue, the deoxygenated phase. Your skin turns bruised, thickly purple blue as the little oxygen in the tissue is used up. You literally, at that point, look like you're rotting. The red, the rubor phase. In this phase, your blood finally rushes back in, but it's no relief. It burns. It throbs. It stings like 1,000 needles being driven into your nail beds. Being diagnosed with Raynaud's after MS is like a cruel joke. I felt like a house where all the electricity was failing and then suddenly the pipes froze over and just bursted open. I remember looking at my blue fingernails and thinking, how much more of me is going to change color? How much more of me is going to stop working? It was a heartfelt terror, my friends. It felt like I was being erased one symptom at a time. If you out there have ever stood over a sink of warm water, crying from your fingers churning from blue back to red, feeling that agonizing sting of life returning back to your hands, I see you. I am holding those ghostly hands with mine. We are losing pieces of ourselves, but we are still here. We are still fighting. I wish this is where my story ended. I wish I could sit here and tell you that the series of unfortunate events in my life were over, but if that were the case, I wouldn't have a podcast. These events that occurred were just the beginning to the new journey I would have to take for the rest of my life.
Don't touch that dial. You won't believe the tip we're sharing in the next segment. It's a total game changer for your daily routine. But before we hit a home run with that, let's take a quick time out for a word from the amazing sponsors making this show possible. Stick around. You don't want to miss this.
Surviving Life is a deeply honest and uplifting memoir by Ricky Harvey, a British author who has lived with primary progressive MS for over 2 decades. From a turbulent childhood marked by family conflict to the challenges of serious illness, Ricky shares a life shaped by resilience, love, travel, and unmistakable British humor. This is not a medical book, but a lived experience story, one that balances tears with laughter and hardship with hope. Along the way, Ricky reflects on marriage, family, disability, and the importance of finding light even in the darkest moments. As praised by Paul Lima, the book is told with humor, honesty, and a huge heart. Surviving Life is a reminder that love, family, and humor can carry us through anything.
Surviving Life can be purchased on Amazon. The author of this book, Ricky Harvey, donates 20% of royalties to his local MS therapy center.
As time went on, I learned to wear gloves in the summer so that the Raynauds would stay at bay. However, a new dryness set in, and I'm not talking about needing a glass of water. Take a second. Try to picture this. Imagine your eyes feeling like they're full of broken glass. Imagine your mouth feeling like a desert that nothing can grow. My body was literally drying from the inside out. My own immune system decided my moisture-producing glands were the enemy. I couldn't understand why my throat felt dry all the time, or why my eyes felt like I had shards of broken glass in them. I was already used to feeling like I was walking on broken glass due to the MS. This was something different. My immune system decided that my moisture, my tears, my saliva, the very lubrication of my joints was an enemy that needed to be eradicated. I can remember waking up in the middle of the night. My tongue literally stuck to the roof of my mouth. It felt like I had swallowed a handful of dry dirt. I tried to drink water, but the water didn't help. And my eyes. Oh my goodness, my eyes were the scariest part of this whole situation. I would blink, and it felt like my eyelids were lined with jagged shards of glass. I was really terrified I was going to go blind again. I thought the MS was taking my sight back. But no, it was a Sandman stealing my tears. I would sit in the dark, wanting to cry from the sheer frustration of being sick again. But I couldn't even produce a tear to mourn my own health. How's that for a thriller? A woman so broken, she can't even weep. By the time I got to the doctor, I was a ghost of myself. I was in pain from the MS, freezing cold from the Raynauds, and parched from an unknown illness. After more tests were done, the doctor finally came back with the diagnosis.
Sjogren.
Or as I like to call it, the Sandman, since it always feels like I have sand in my throat and eyes. When I cry, it looks like I'm faking it, since I can't produce any tears. But that's not the worst part of this disease. I need to talk to you about something that's really hard to share. It's one of the dirty little secrets of the Sandman. We talk about the dry eyes, but we don't talk about the teeth. I remember sitting in the dentist chair. You know that smell. That sterile, sharp, metallic scent. I was just there for a routine cleaning. I've always been a stickler for good hygiene, brushing, flossing, doing everything right. But the dentist looked at me with the expression of pity. He said, "Your enamel is just dissolving." Imagine the terror of being told your body is rotting while you're still using it. Since the Sandman had stolen my saliva, I lost the natural defense that my mouth had to protect my teeth. I've had to endure hours of agonizing and very expensive surgeries. And the worst part? The shame. People look at you and think you don't take care of yourself. They don't see that you have a chronic illness that is literally rotting your teeth. They just see the decay. It's a horror movie when the monster is invisible to everyone but you. If you out there have Sjogren's and are afraid to smile because of what this horrible disease has done to your mouth, stand tall. Don't let this illness or any other illness keep you in the dark. Even with the pain, the scars, even with the implants, we're all still beautiful. I've lost a couple of teeth from Sjogren's, and I've had to undergo major dental work. I'm actually scheduled to have a little bit more done, but I'm still smiling. I'm smiling through the pain. I'm smiling through all the exhaustion. And I'm smiling through all the expenses. Autoimmune diseases have invaded my body, but I cannot let it break my spirit. So I keep moving forward. I remember thinking, things can't get any worse, right? I survived the tremors, the blindness, the numbness, fatigue, and pain of MS. I've endured the frozen fingers of Raynaud. We went through losing teeth and constantly feeling like I'm swallowing sand and feeling like I have jagged shards of glass in my eyes. But then came what I like to call the butterfly assassin, wrapped deep in the base of my throat, wrapped around my windpipe, sits my thyroid. It's shaped like a beautiful, delicate butterfly. In any other story, it would be a symbol of hope. But in my body, that butterfly, it grew teeth. That butterfly is called Hashimoto syndrome. It's not just a slow metabolism. The reality is a horror story. Your own immune system, the same immune system that's already busy tearing up your nerves, decides to launch a full-scale assassination on your thyroid glands. It's like a siege. The soldiers of your blood mistaking your life force regulator for an intruder. They attack day and night until the butterfly is scared, swollen, and dying. But the real thriller moment, the one that changed how I saw myself in the mirror, that was the butterfly-shaped traitor in my neck. At that time, the beginning of my diagnosis, I started gaining a lot of weight. I wasn't eating more. In fact, I was just exhausted from the MS fatigue. This was a heavy, soul-crushing tiredness. There was one point in my life where I looked in the mirror and I didn't recognize the puffy face staring back at me. My immune system was cannibalizing my thyroid. This is a kind of thyroid issue that slows your metabolism into a crawl. It makes you gain weight while you're starving, and it makes you feel like you're walking through waist-deep mud every single day of your life. I know I may not look overweight now, but I have spent years trying to maintain my health, maintain my weight, trying to eat better, trying to maintain all these autoimmune issues I'm going through. It's been a lot of work, but it's worth it. I'm worth it. You're worth it. This whole thing, it's scary, isn't it? To realize your body isn't just fighting one war. It's a global conflict across every organ in your body. Now, this is where it gets terrifying. As the thyroid dies, the fire in your body starts to go out. Your internal furnace flickers. Your heart rate drops. Your brain begins to fog over, even more so than the MS cog fog. And besides the emotions you're going through, the physical feeling is so much worse. Imagine waking up and feeling like your skin is being lined with lead. Every day, I would wake up and look in the mirror and literally see a stranger staring back. It's a psychological thriller you just can't turn off. You're being buried alive in your own flesh. I'd step on the scale and watch the numbers climb, like if there was a countdown to an explosion that was about to happen. 10 pounds more, 20 pounds more, 30 pounds more. All while I was so exhausted, I could barely lift my head from the pillow. It's a betrayal that hits your soul because it takes away from your own reflection. It takes away the you the whole world sees. Getting a diagnosis for anything these days seems really difficult, since we, the patients, the ones that are chronically ill, are being dismissed. If you're out there right now and feel unwell, please see a doctor, no matter what it is. And if that doctor brushes you off, ignoring your symptoms, go find yourself another doctor. Multiple sclerosis tried to take over my life. Raynaud's phenomenon tried to scare me. Sjogren's tried to make me feel isolated and cold. And Hashimoto syndrome tried to finish the job by crushing my spirit. But I caught all of my illnesses on time. When I was ignored by one doctor, I went to another. I kept on voicing my symptoms until someone finally heard me. At first, with any one of the symptoms from any one of the illnesses that I had, doctors would try to tell me that I was depressed or just getting older. I kept fighting for my health, fighting to be heard. I demanded blood tests. For any one of you struggling out there to get a diagnosis, don't give up. Finding out I had Hashimoto's wasn't just another diagnosis for me. It was a revelation. It was the realization that I wasn't fighting as hard as I thought I was. Since I was literally being sabotaged by my own body. There's an incredible, uplifting power that comes from finding the name of the thing that's trying to assassinate you. Because once a monster has a name, it could be hunted. My thyroid is scared. My body is changed. But the butterfly assassin didn't finish the job. I'm still breathing even through it all. Even through this fog. I know many of you listening are feeling this right now. You got your MS diagnosis, and then suddenly, you're at the doctor for your skin, your joints, or your thyroid. You start to feel like no one believes you because people look at you as just a really unlucky person. I'm here to tell you, you're not crazy. You are not just tired. You are fighting a multi-war front. When you have one autoimmune disease, your immune system is already on high alert. Sometimes it just doesn't know how to turn off the alarm, so it starts attacking everything that moves. MS was the first demon in my life to walk through the door. But Raynaud's, Sjogren's, and Hashimoto syndrome followed close behind. They share the same shadow. MS made me tired, Raynaud's made me cold, Sjogren's made me thirsty, Hashimoto churned my tiredness and cold into a permanent heavy weight. This is a butterfly effect. Because one day my immune system decided to fight my brain. And that tiny, microscopic choice eventually spiraled into a hurricane that tried to drown my thyroid, freeze my blood, and dry out my very own tears. One guess was never enough for this demon. It wanted the whole house. It sounds like a horror movie, I know. But it's time to take back control. We're not victims of any of these chronic illnesses. We are warriors. We are fighters. The day that I leave this earth, it'll be from old age, not this disease. These illnesses will not have the last say-so in my life. I won't allow it. Next week, we're going to talk about the comorbidity cocktail, how to balance the meds, the doctors who don't talk to one another, and how to reclaim your identity when your body feels like a stranger's. Don't let the demon within win the fight. You're still in there. I'm still in here. And we're walking through the dark forest together. I'm Jenny. Stay brave, stay restless, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.
Is blessed. No matter what obstacle she faces, she finds a way to make it through. She's a survivor and a champion. And there's nothing that can be said or done that can ever take that away from her.
This woman is blessed, believe it, she's a champion. Living without stress, believe it, she's a champion. This woman is blessed, believe it, she's a champion. Living without stress.